Hi class, it's Professor Hollis, and today we're going to be talking about HTML code. So far you've learned what makes up a website, what you're going to need to create a website. So that includes a domain name, which is your web URL, and it also includes hosting. You're going to need hosting to set up a website. So basically what happens is you build a site on your computer. You use that URL that you've purchased as your website address, and then the website is put onto a remote server, and that remote server hosts the website so that it's accessible 24 hours a day. Okay, and then when somebody types in your URL, that server will be accessed and then the pages will load on their browser on their computer. Okay. So a browser has the job of downloading and displaying HTML pages. And every time you click on a link, you're requesting an HTML page and any files that are included with that. So that would include things like images, videos, audio that are attached to that HTML page. So the browser's job is to display that page based on whatever the HTML code says, and then it will also generate the images, text, and layout of the page so that you're seeing exactly what the web designer wants you to see. So HTML is a coding language, and it stands for Hypertext Markup Language. And HTML has been around for a while. It's not really a computer programming language, but it's called a text-based markup language. And you don't have to use Dreamweaver to create HTML documents. There are a lot of other programs you can use. One of them being just a basic text editor. On the Mac, it's called TextEdit. And I could actually go in here, and rather than typing a note, I could actually create an HTML document if I know the hypertext markup language, or HTML code. Okay, so today we're going to look at a little bit of the code. I just opened up a brand new HTML file in Dreamweaver, and I'm looking at the code view. So this is what the code looks like, and the design view is completely blank right now, okay? But there are some things going on behind the scenes. So behind the scenes, you're having a doc type that tells the browser what type of document this is. So it's doc type HTML. And then the very first tag on your HTML document is going to be the HTML tag. Okay. Every tag is going to have those little arrows on either side of it. That is how we denote that we're making an HTML tag versus just regular text. Okay. So if you're typing in the code, you would type this with the open and close arrow. So HTML is your first tag. And then the next tag of every HTML document is the head section. So the head section of an HTML document contains things that aren't necessarily seen on the page. There's a lot of behind the scenes stuff that goes in the head section. So that would include things like the meta tag and the title tag. Then after you have the head section, it will close, and anytime you want to close a tag, it's going to have a slash in front of the word, okay? So to open a tag, you type the arrows on either side, and then to close a tag, you do the slash in front of the word, whatever it happens to be, okay? So the head section is the next section. And then the main part of an HTML page is going to be within the body tag. So the body tag is going to wrap around whatever content we put in here, okay? So this is stuff that's going to be seen on the actual page. Now, rather than just typing something like, this is a paragraph, I can type that there, but it doesn't have the appropriate tag with it, so the browser is not going to know how to load it. And if I look over at design view, it looks okay. But if I go and open it in my browser, I'm going to have to save this. Hang on. That'll work. If I go and open it in my browser, it's like, okay, so it says this is a paragraph, so we'll display that text, but it doesn't know much about it, okay? So instead of just typing text like that or typing an image, we want to put it inside of an HTML tag that is going to help the browser recognize what it is, okay? So for example, if you're wanting to create a paragraph, you can use the P tag, which is defined as a paragraph. Okay, so the P tag is going to wrap around my paragraph. So the open P tag will be at the front of it, and then the slash P tag will be at the end of it. And what that does is it tells the browser that it's a paragraph and to display it according to paragraph rules, okay? So let's look at that in the browser real quick. Okay, so it looks about the same. Now if we go on and we create another paragraph, now we have two paragraphs and they're going to appear to be separate from each other, okay? So this, see how there's like a little bit of a line break in between? That is denoting that we have two separate paragraphs, okay? The other thing you will notice is up here in the tab section, it says untitled document. That is where the title tag comes in. So up here in the head section where it says title, that's where that untitled document is. So I'm going to change that to my first HTML page and save it. And then when you preview it in your browser, it should show up right there. Okay, so that's the title of your document. Not necessarily the file name title, but the title of the tab in your browser. Okay, so let's say, for example, we want to make this paragraph bold, okay? There's a couple ways we could do that. If we're just using tags, though, I'm going to start with typing the tag strong, and strong makes something bold. And then at the end of that paragraph, I'm going to do my slash strong. Okay, notice I put both of those inside of the p tags. So we're nesting the strong tag inside of the p tags. Okay, I'm going to save that and then open it in Chrome, and I'll show you how that text looks a little bit different. Okay, so it's bold text, whereas the other one is not. Okay. So there's a lot of different tags that you can use when you're writing in HTML. Every HTML page should start and finish with the HTML tag. Every single HTML page should have a head section that opens and closes, and every HTML page should have a body section to it that opens and closes. And when you create a new document in Dreamweaver, Dreamweaver automatically sets all that up for you, so you don't have to type it yourself. But if you were going to create something from scratch in like TextEdit or Notepad, then you would need to know all of those. So that's why we're learning them today. Okay, so as we continue throughout this course, I would suggest making a list of HTML tags that you might want to use. So if you want to create that on your computer, you can, or if you have a notebook that you want to use for that. So the first one I would add is the HTML tag, and then you can put the closing tag after it, /HTML. So that tag is required to start and finish an HTML document. That one's the most important. The next one I would put is the head tag. So the head section of the document containing metadata, links to CSS and scripts, and the title. Okay, that's inside of the head tag. The title tag contains the title of the tab in the browser, followed by a /title. The body tag contains all of the visible elements on the page. So anything that you see appearing on the actual HTML page is going to be contained within the body tag. Okay, so those are the 4 we have just learned. We also learned paragraph, p tag, and we learned strong, which is emphasis or bold text. So if you keep a list of these, it's going to help you out a lot when you need to recall what tag you use for certain things. Another one that you'll find very useful is the image tag, or IMG. The image tag doesn't actually have its own closing tag with it, is what you'll find. So if you do IMG and then do a space. Then the next part of that is src, which is the source of the image. So this actually determines where the file's coming from. And then that is put into quotation marks. Okay, so we'll find all this out later when we actually start using those tags. But the image tag doesn't have its own closing tag. It just goes slash at the end and then the closing arrow. Okay. So if you can go ahead and keep a sort of document like this open or in a notebook, it will help you keep track of all that. I want to show you a website that I use to also keep track of HTML tags, and it's called W3 Schools. So w3schools.com, it stands for World Wide Web, W3, and it's a web developer site that keeps track of everything about HTML, JavaScript, CSS, all the different web-related codes. Okay. So if you want to learn more HTML, you can go there, and they have a tutorial. They always have examples with previews of what those things look like. So if you go over to HTML elements, maybe it's basic. You can learn a lot on this site. If you want to spend some time looking at it, it would be a good idea. I was pretty sure they had just a list of HTML tags. But you can pretty much find anything you need on this website. Oh yeah, here it is. Element reference, that's what it's called. And this is all the HTML tags ordered alphabetically. And then you can click on them from there and find out what they do. Okay, but this is kind of the same as your list that you would want to make that has notes about all of the different tags. So you can reference this HTML by alphabet reference, and it can help you out a lot with different HTML tags.